Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Slope Club. It's time for another album discussion. You know how it is. We listen to an album by an idol group, and then we talk about it. I'm here with Tron and Josh. What's up?
Up, boys?
Yo, what's good?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this episode, we're going to talk about some IZ*ONE. Of course, you know, out here in Slope Club, we cover Japanese idols, so we're going to talk about their Japanese album, 12. So IZ*ONE, I think everybody knows who they are. They're pretty popular, aren't they? Korean Japanese idol group. They were formed in 2018 after the survival competition show Produce 48.
Woo!
I like how everyone calls it produce and not produce. It's some veggies,
like some
fruits and
groceries.
veggies.
It's like Target or Target. It's like the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Produce 48, you know how it was. It's like it was like a competition show. There was like Produce 101, right? And then they collab with the AKB48 group, and then, you know, a bunch of Korean members from like various Korean agencies and whatnot participated. And on the other side, a bunch of 48 group members participated. And in the end, we ended up with 9 Korean members and 3 Japanese members. They're supposed to have like a limited lifespan and supposed to disband, or it's supposed to have already disbanded. I don't know.
Depending on when you see this, they might have already been disbanded. Shall see.
They are a K-pop group, so it's a mix of sounds, right? K-pop, J-pop, dance pop stuff, electronic, you know, pop R&B, you know, all these stylistic things you hear from a K-pop girl group. Did you guys watch Produce 48? I did not.
I did. I don't think either of you guys did.
I didn't either. I think I watched the first episode.
You've probably seen like YouTube skits of them like being evaluated during their beginning auditions, right? Especially like the Japanese members and all the other like HKT members.
Yeah, I mean, like as a 48 group fan, of course I knew of it, right? They're like, oh shit, this thing's going on, you know. A bunch of members I like participated and stuff, but I never actually watched the show. Everything I know about IZ*ONE is from my Twitter feed, that whenever they do something, it's full of them.
You learn about IZ*ONE from Twitter and 48 and 30. That's your main source of IZ*ONE.
Yeah. And, you know, like,
But don't
of course,
forget, there's also the story of IZ*ONE on our channel.
Shout out to Andy.
Big help.
This was Tron's idea. So
I think we talked about it, and I think this album I think would be considered a Japanese idol album, right? Because we have some members from the 48 family in this group, and most of these songs were produced, or say lyrics were produced by Akimoto. So not sure if you knew that, but most of all the Japanese releases, Akimoto produced the lyrics for them. So I think it qualifies, right? And I think it's funny too, because I saw all 48 produced 48. I wouldn't consider myself a hardcore fan. I think amongst the Slope Club boys, I'm probably the biggest IZ*ONE fan. But if you threw me out into like the Twitterverse or in the K-pop world, I'm as of a filthy casual as it comes.
is that an IZ*ONE thing where like somebody, like one of the fans asks you a thing and you're supposed to reply with the lyric, and if you don't, you're not a true fan?
I would fail that.
I only know the Japanese members because obviously I've followed them before.
Yeah, because we come from that angle, right? So we're like a little bit different than most of the other people maybe looking at this album or looking at the group, right?
Different perspective though, right? So I'm sure like there's other YouTube channels that have covered this album, and you know our perspective is gonna be a little bit different than theirs.
Yeah, the album is called 12, obviously, for the number of members that are in the group. Released October 2020, and I you know, the one that's on Spotify is, I assume, the one we all listen to, right? The special edition one.
Special edition.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that one. That's the one we listened to. It has 13 tracks. Oh, damn, they couldn't just take one off.
Consistency.
Come on, man. Damn.
Come on. That's all
Damn.
good.
Yeah, it's mostly Japanese released songs and new Japanese songs produced for this album, but there are also Japanese versions of previously released tracks that they released in Korea. Let's get into the songs.
I am so excited and anxious to hear what you guys think. How about we start off with some of the Korean...
What? Really? You want to start there? All right.
Let's start off on the high note, and then we can get into the Japanese single ones where we kind of are going to go on a roller coaster, I think. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like we should start off high. Because I think I think there's a distinct, for this album, there's a distinct difference when you hear a Korean produced song that obviously is translated to Japanese compared to a Japanese produced song that is made for their Japanese releases in the Japanese market. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely hear the difference.
100%, I agree with you. Yeah.
The three songs.
Yeah. Technically, the fourth song, there's a song that was used in Produce 48 as like an evaluation single for their final debut, but it's in Japanese, but it was used in Produce. So, but yeah, let's just say three official release songs that were released in Korea that were translated to Japanese.
Right. There's La Vie en Rose, which was their first release, right? And then Violeta, and then Fiesta. Out of the three, I'd say my favorite, maybe Violeta.
Okay, it's the same for me.
I guess like I'm not like super familiar with K-pop, but I feel like it checks all the marks that it needs to be a K-pop song. It hits all the beats. The drop in this song is the best one, I felt like, out of the three. The Violeta, and then it's like, the drop, right? It has that cool bass sound. That's like, the PVC pipe instruments when they like smack the pipes and it makes that sound. That's what the bass sounds like. And that's cool, man. Like the pipe guy on YouTube.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I never thought of it like that though. But you are 100% correct. No,
it's cool. I'm not saying it's a shitty sound.
No,
it's
I
cool
like
sound.
it. I just never correlated the two. But you're definitely right. It's the same sound that those guys produce. Violet is interesting. It's my second favorite song out of the three.
Yeah, when I looked through the track list, apparently Nacchau wrote some of the lyrics. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, out of the three Japanese versions of the Korean songs, that's probably my favorite.
For me, that one made me bob my head the most. For me, I really like the verses in the song compared to the chorus. It just really shined for me. I think vocally, I really enjoyed the song compared to some of the other ones. And it's catchy, but still has that personality to make it a little unique. Yeah, I think out of those two, for sure, this one.
My personal favorite out of the three is Fiesta, which is their latest single that they released.
Is that the same producer?
I don't think it's the same producer, but that just tosses up to just how the Korean artists or Korean producers kind of play off each other, But I think Violeta definitely is a great song. And I think to Boy's point about Nacchau kind of helping with the lyrics, I think I could be wrong, so people in comments don't kill me, but I think like when they translated it from the Korean to Japanese, I think each member took a song and helped translate it to Japanese and did their own like translations and different nuances on it. Because I think Honda, he told me,
yeah, we wouldn't say that really, I feel like that's
really
what
translate.
We would
like
say it
lyrics
this way, but still sound like a banger.
I would
This is
not
probably how
say
he would
this.
say it. So like Honda, he told me did like La Vie en Rose, Nacchau did Violeta, and then I think Sakura did Fiesta. Is how I remember reading an article or reading some sort of wiki article about it, but I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, I think Violeta's out. But personally, for me, Fiesta, I think is more of a banger. It's like it comes out of a stronger hit, and I think the choruses are a little more catchy in Fiesta. If you want to, out of the three. And I think it just hypes me up more.
I like the arrangement in Fiesta. There's a lot of cool sounds, like a lot of like twinkly stuff, and that like wobbly bass is pretty cool.
Yeah, for me, the chorus really shone in this song. I think it's just catchy. It's energetic. It reminds me of a different artist, but I can't remember the name of him. But I've definitely heard the music. It's a Japanese artist that kind of does that like kind of energetic, crazy, catchy kind of electronic music. I can't remember who it is. Not Rail. Who is it?
I'd say Rail's pretty close. Yeah, I see that. Maybe that's why I like it. What about their first release?
So when it first came out, it was actually one of the stronger debut singles, I think, in my opinion. And the Japanese version of it, I definitely think out of the 3 songs that were translated, I think this one had like the weirdest hit for me, or it didn't really feel as strong as the original Korean version. I think everything else, like the Japanese version of Violeta and Fiesta, when translated to Japanese and sung in Japanese, I think it was pretty to what you'd expect out of the Korean version. But Leavian Rose, just I don't know, something about singing the song in Japanese, and also could because I think it's one of the weaker songs out of the discography from Izone. So it might be biased on that side as well, but I just don't think it hit really that well with the Japanese. And I think also some of the English was like some of the verses, especially the rap parts, some of it was translated to English, which was definitely like, whoa, that's still a bit different for me. That Yena, I think Yena's the one who does the rapping parts in that song in particular, and yeah, I don't know, it's just a little bit of miss of a mark, but still a good song. But out of the 3, probably the weakest one.
It's more of a cooler take, right? Like the vibe is like more kind of subdued but cool. It's not like super hype.
I feel like compared to some of the songs before it has a little bit more impact, maybe because it's one of their main singles, so kind of makes sense they put a little bit more into that. The breakdown flows pretty nicely, and I really like the percussion in the last third of the song. I think that's the best part of it.
How about we switch over to their debut Japanese single?
Oh, this is my favorite song in the album.
Such a banger.
Sukito Iwasetai, dude.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. I think this is my favorite song on here.
Well, I mean, I think it was they started off really strong when they released the song. So, in case you guys don't know, this was their debut single for the Japanese market, and what a banger to start off with.
So I heard this when they released it, and I was like, oh yeah, I can get behind this. You know, I like this style more. You know, it's a little bit more dramatic, right? Got this breezy arrangement. I could see like a Sakamichi group do
I was
this
thinking exactly the same thing. I wrote that down.
You know what I mean?
Sakamichi cover
just
one,
like in line with their style. I like the chorus. There's that call and response type deal going on, right? Like Sukito Iwasetai, and then you know they sing the lyrics, and then like the progression and the melody just in that chorus part is nice. I like it.
The reason why I like this song so much is because it was such a distinct difference coming off of like their couple Korean singles that, you know, oh, this is K-pop, their Korean group. This is, you know, what they're defined as. But then when they came with this song and debuted it in Japan, it definitely had more of a J-pop kind of like Japanese tone that some of the more popular mainstream Japanese artists would kind of go with. And I thought that was so interesting, unique. I was worried that they were going to just have like the same rehashed songs and composer that you'd get in Korea and Japan, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I know we don't talk about the music videos that much, but the music videos is really good too. I just want to throw that out there for the single. But no, the song's really strong. I really liked it one. They started off high, then they kind of fell down with the other Japanese singles.
Yeah, this definitely has like a more Japanese approach, right? Like as far as the like the chord progressions go, right? It doesn't repeat the same pattern, right? Like the verse and the pre-chorus like switches it up, right? And before going back into the chorus parts. So
Yeah. I think in the pre-chorus is where I feel it the most, with like the lead-ups and the build-ups and everything with the vocals, and then just going into a break with the chorus. That's really like I can see like Last Idol, maybe old Kiyakizaka doing this.
Was this your favorite song? What's your favorite song on the album, Josh?
It's the same one.
Okay, so you both have the strongest. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your least favorite song on the album?
We want to get into this.
Hey, I mean, we started off high. You know, you build something up, and then you have to. That's how 101, right? You build it up, and then you kind of have to come in and give out your criticism. And
I gotta give my award to Buenos Aires, dude.
oh,
That might be mine too.
Sorry, not into this one.
talk about how we started off high. You know, this is the second single that was released, I think, from in the Japanese, you know, second Japanese single release.
I think I remember seeing on Twitter that this was not very well received. Everyone's like, yeah, I think I just remember seeing tweets like that. But like for me, it felt like they tried to incorporate all these different things, but didn't come off that well. Like they didn't go far enough to do those. You know, like trying to get, there's like the rap part, right? And then the weird like you can do it, you know, like chants and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what
like
is
they added
this?
some like
Why is this here?
idol elements, right? This is like stuff that you would
Yeah,
add into
and
like an Hello Project song. Let's go, you can do
and,
it.
and then there's like vocal runs at the end. Oh, I'm like, what? Why? You know, it's like I feel like if you're gonna go crazy and do all these different things, you should just go ham and do like a hiadain type thing, you know, where it's just like crazy, right? But you know, obviously they have like a style they went for and like this image, and so you can't get too far from it, I guess. But yeah, not a fan.
I don't know if this is the Spotify version, but for me it sounded a little compressed. Like I feel like there wasn't no expression in the mastering. I don't know if it's like the Spotify again, but yeah, it didn't feel like it didn't give me the oomph I wanted from the song. And that was throughout the song. Some of the vocal stuff they do, I don't really like. And it kind of feels like when they were making the song, they looked at it overall like, okay, we'll put this section here, and this section here. And then they work on the individual sections and don't look at it like completely. See how it flows together.
Yeah.
Like the rap part doesn't sound like a K-pop style like rap section.
Granted, this was produced all in-house in Japan. So like, you know, you had a Japanese composer and you had Akimoto doing the lyrics, and then you had the arrangement and everything all done by the same. I think it was the arrangement and the music was all done by the same person. So, and I wrote down my notes, like I kind of foreshadowed it in the beginning of this video, is that, you know, you can tell the difference between a Japanese produced Izone song and a Korean produced Izone song, and this is probably like example A right here. I think probably I'd say this actually isn't the weakest Japanese single in my opinion.
Oh, what is it for you?
For my worst song on the album, and probably the worst song that Izone's ever released, like in terms of singles, is Beware.
Oh,
Yeah, I wasn't impressed by the song.
It's just so weird drops, like pauses, and the breakdowns before the chorus, like the slowdowns, and like
this sounds like a song that would play in like a kids commercial.
Yeah,
for a water park.
Yeah.
This summer, bring your family to Raging Waters or like some shit like, you know, Hurricane Harbor.
Okay, so a little commercially, right?
God,
you know, like na, 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 and then they're like running in the water and shit, going down the slide. I like some of the bass parts though.
I'm listening to the song right now, and then all I'm getting is Raging Waters now.
And you know,
ruined the just imagine them like
it's the same person.
Water.
Yeah, it's the style. I just that's not clicking with me. You know, the girls sound great, but you know, you only can work with what you have, and like all these girls can sound. You know, most of them are Korean, you know, artists, right? So their singing abilities are like off the charts. You know,
They trained for that, right?
yeah, you train for that, and all like, you know, Nacchau, Honda, Hitomi, and you know, Sakura are, you know, definitely great singers in their own right. So like they sound great, but you know, you only can do so much when just the arrangement and the music production just misses the mark.
This also has like a rap section in like Buenos Aires. I don't like it, man. Like I'm already not a fan of like rap parts. You know, like they just replace a second verse with like a rap or whatever. And like the way they do it in these tracks just don't sound good to me.
They're rapping in Korean, so when they do the Korean versions of like, you know, their songs that have rap parts, I think that it sounds really good. But like, I just think that the Japanese, I don't know who's doing that. I didn't look into like the lyric distributions, but who does the rapping in it?
It's a different style for sure, especially with the language and like the Korean language being so specific to like the way they rap. It's kind of hard to do it in Japanese.
I think this was like the title track for this album, so like, yeah, it has the music video and everything. And I remember listening to this. I remember we covered it on 48 and 30, and I
don't think any of us really liked it then. And it hasn't changed.
No, it hasn't really changed.
Or how about we go down the list and let's go with Vampire.
Another weak song. Another song I don't.
When this song like came out and they put it on Spotify, I just had like a playlist going. And when this song came on, I was like, oh shit, AKB's finally on Spotify. And I like click over. Oh wait, it's Izone.
I can see some elements. I think especially in the vocal melodies.
Yeah, it sounded like such an AKB song to me.
I think for me, I think I come to realize I don't really like Halloween themed songs. Like it has like the organs and it has like the violins to like sound like very like Halloween fall vibes, and I just don't think that really hits for me.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's like one of the better ones. It to me just leans a lot more on AKB style than like K-pop or just like a neutral or both trying to like blend it together. So yeah, I could see it like in a unit song or something.
I think I'm a fan of the vocals more than I am of the actual instrumental for the song, which is rare to see.
Yeah, I think it's the instrumentation, like the arrangement, that makes it very AKB style.
All right, how about we go to Waiting?
I actually like this one. It's a fun electro pop track.
Yeah, this is actually one of the better songs from Japanese production standpoint. I think it's really solid. I think the English parts kind of throw me off though. I think when they're like, I think it's in the chorus or right before the chorus, they like sing in English and they say it really fast. And like, I think this would sound better if you just use it in Japanese. I don't know why you have to include it, have an English translation to it.
I think for me, it's like almost every song that does that, where they try to fit in English into like a short like time, and it's like, God, that doesn't sound right. Like we would never say that in English.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I think it's a pretty solid track.
Yeah, one of the better produced songs. I don't mind this one.
Yeah, I think again for this one, vocal melodies are what shine for me. Backing track for me sounds a little safe. Like it was built to be like a catchy song, but really doesn't give me anything more than that.
I can see that.
Suki, Hiki ni Nacchau Darō. On the Spotify it says Eyes One version.
This was used in Produce 48 as one of the 2 evaluation songs. So I forget how many girls there were. I think it was the final 20 or the final 18. And the one half did a Korean song that was produced by some producers, and that was like their evaluation song for people to vote on. And then this song was used for the other 9 girls. And I think Choi Yena, who's in the Eyes One, was the center, and then Sakura was in that group, and I think I forget who else was in there. There was other numbers that didn't make it into Eyes One. Were in the scripts. That's why they say Eyes One version, because this version has all the Eyes One girls singing it. Because the other one was just like the final 20 or 18 contestants singing for the chance to get into Eyes One. So that's why it's the Eyes One version.
Gotcha.
So this is a really catchy song. I really like the song. Out of the 2 evaluation songs, this was like my preferred song. I really like the production of this one. It's very catchy. The synth sounds is really good.
I like the rhythm section. Like there's the claps and then the kick drum, very active. It really drives the song for me. So,
And can we mention that guitar or synth? What is it?
It's catchy. I like it.
Yeah, the little solo they have, super good.
I'm glad it was interesting they added this into the. I guess it doesn't make. And now I think about it, it's not that because it was a Japanese version for Produce 48. So one had to sing Japanese, one had to sing a Korean song. So this is like, so that's why it wasn't translated to Japanese. I think this was like the crew members who are trying to get into the final Eyes One group were singing in Japanese. That's why they probably added it to this track or to this album. So that makes sense.
Move along to Yummy Summer. Apparently Sakura wrote the lyrics.
Yeah, and I think she helped produce as well. Yeah,
and the composition also. So that's cool. I like the vibe. It's pretty fun, tropical party.
It's very Korean summertime song K-pop. I think if you're familiar with Korean. Like summertime K-pop music, it definitely has those strong ties, and the tropic house
full on with the
as well.
The funky guitar, right? The clean channels, right? And it's not just in this song. I think they have a few other songs that they do this. There's like those vocal inflections they do at the end of like verse lines, or like where like it like cuts it short.
Yeah.
Like they do it so much. It's so obvious in this one. I know they do it in other songs too, but it's in this one where it stood out so much for me. And like what? It's like
I'm not a fan of that. Like that was present in some of the other songs.
If it's overdone, then I don't.
Like they cut that last like syllable so short. Like why? Like keep doing it.
Yeah. They go or they go right, and the little vocals like little staccato. Like those 2 like tropes are I see present. Like it kind of like throws me off a little. It kind of deters me from the song. and enjoying it. Because I think this song actually has a great backing track. It's really bright and fun. But then some of the vocal runs that go through, it's kind of like,
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it's like cute or whatever, but like, I don't know, man. They do it so much. But other than that, this track's pretty good, man.
Yeah, one of the better songs on the album. I mean, like we've kind of dogged a lot of the Japanese produced songs, and granted, this wasn't produced. I think this was produced by a Korean composers. So this was like Korean produced with Sakura kind of laying down the
you
lyrics.
kind of get that tone for sure. Listening through it.
So the last couple here, Yume o Miteiru Aida, also Izone version and Japanese version. Is this the other evaluation track?
So this was another. I take that back. So there were three, I think, that were there's two like more upbeat K-pop songs that you guys that they use, and then I think all the girls used like sang a ballad song, and this was the ballad song that was in Korean that they translated to Japanese, and then just the Izone member singing it versus the like the final 18 contestants, whatever. Right. So I think this is what the this song was added on for. So pretty good. Definitely has strong Korean ballad, vibes.
Got a mid-tempo pop R&B style, but as always, it's a mid-tempo
Yeah.
idol ballad. It's not for me. It's not my style. If they're going with like a low-tempo track, I'd rather have them just go like stripped down.
You mean you don't like those trap beats in the middle of the song?
No, dude. Like, I already don't like the tempo, It's like, I mean, it's fine. It's just not like what I prefer if they're going to do like a ballad. I'd rather they go for just one instrument accompaniment or just like maybe a more soft rock folk style.
I personally like Korean ballads, but this one's one of the weird ones where, like Josh mentioned, it had like that weird trap beat. And
It didn't need those hi-hats, man.
The hi-hats. That's what I was thinking.
Why is it doing
The
that?
hi-hats. Yeah, those hi-hats were really weird. I personally am okay with it. Not one of the more weaker like pop ballad songs. And you know how I feel. If you're not gonna if you're gonna do a pop ballad song, it has to be really good for me to like it, or else, it's very hit or miss for me. So this one's kind of like a little off the mark.
Though I do like the string ending. I do wish the string was a little bit more prominent throughout the song because the ending I really enjoyed. It's not because the song was ending, it's because of the strings.
And of course, vocal performance, very good.
Girls sound great.
And we got Dousurebaii. This is kind of a weird one. I do like it that they tried going for like a different style, like more jazzy influenced track. But then like the track itself, I don't know if I like it.
I don't like it.
I was the opposite. I prefer the instrumental over the vocals.
I don't like either. I think this is another. This is a song that was like I think this is like an album specific song, wasn't like a single or anything released. To my knowledge, I could be wrong, but I think it was kind of underwhelming.
It's so weird because it doesn't fit with the rest that they go for, especially in like the verse sections where it's just like dun, dun, and it's like, what? Like, this is not what they went for this whole album, and then suddenly you have this. I do like that they like went away from what they were doing, but it's like,
Yeah, but they're still somewhat there, right? They didn't go all the way to the groovy feels. They're still like a little bit, reeled in, which I think is a little negative in my opinion.
they should have just like full on. I've gone, just like straight up jazz or something.
Yeah, I think it needed a sax solo like in the middle of the song.
If they went full on jazz themed and like really like worked around that with the arrangement for vocal and like adding that like what you said, like a sax solo or something in there, that'd be good, or trumpet.
Because they had a sax solo like at the very end. It was like for 3 seconds with like some filters on it. But if it was like implemented throughout, kind of led to a little solo in between instead of that weird breakdown that happened, I think I would have enjoyed the song way more.
Yeah, because I love jazzy songs. I love like when idols take like a jazzy vibe and like jazzy theme. Like we've covered a lot of songs in the past that had like a jazzy kind of like theme to it.
It's so weird. The arrangement's so weird. I don't know, man. I don't think I like it that much. It's like, oh, we're gonna try this little jazzy thing, but then there's like the guitar that's like weird. It sounds like a modem and shit. Like a dial-up. What is it doing, man? Why not clean? Why does it have to have this like weird fuzz on it?
It's just interesting who they pick, or I'm not sure if it's Akimoto picking, because every song that is done on this album for the most part is Akimoto lyrics. So I'm not sure how Izone decides who composes the songs and produces the songs.
They should have just covered an AKB song. I don't know, Eyes One version.
That'd be cool. I'd be down for that. Because this song and the last song, I just think just very underwhelming songs. Like the last song, Shy Boy, I think it's like another okay song. Production of like the instrumentals and everything just are kind of like underwhelming for me. There's nothing that really there's no payoff. There's no nothing that really sounds great. Nothing sticks out. I don't know. It's just another. Again, this is the same person who produced Beware and Buenos Aires.
That producer again. I think out of the three, though, of those, that the producer.
Yeah, you agree. You're right. Yes, that's not a very high bar to get over, but yeah, I think I agree. This is one of the better songs out of the three.
Like the song itself, I think it's pretty decent. Like dance pop track. It's there. It's not like one of the standout tracks, but it's not like one of the worst either. It's just there. That's the thing. Like it's just there, and like it's vibrant. It's fun. But I think just the high synth pitch voices, the sounds, and I don't know. And then the vocal arrangements just don't really mesh with the synth. And I don't know. It was there, and makes me kind of bummed that this is probably gonna be their. I'm assuming this is gonna be their only Japanese album, and overall the album was kind of underwhelming for me. I mean, that's why I think the best songs that were on the album were the ones that were the Korean singles that were translated to Japanese, and then their one debut single that they brought in Japan. The Sukito Iwasetai was a great banger, but everything else that was produced in Japan kind of underwhelming in my opinion. Yeah, we covered all the tracks. Let's share some of our final thoughts about 12.
For this one, even though it's titled 12, I will not give it a 12 out of 10 because that's out of our
That was my
range.
joke.
No such
God, I should have went first. Just kidding.
And in fact, I'm going to cut it in half and go to 6 out of 10.
Oof.
12. Okay, that makes sense.
There are a couple of good songs in there, but I think overall, the average songs maybe didn't impress me as much. They were nice to listen to, but nothing that really wowed me. Nothing that makes me go back and want to listen to. Like we have Sukito Iwasetai, and we also have Violeta, which are my two top tracks of the album. Both of these, I think, are really solid. They do a lot of things interesting that really helps them shine away from the rest of the songs. And I think we mentioned earlier, it's not too hard to do with some of these songs. And I think those weaker songs really brought down my numbers. And yeah, this is the first time I listened to Izone. So hopefully the rest of their tracks fare a little better. If anyone has any suggestions, please leave them down below. But yeah, I have to say 6 out of 10.
I will also give it a 6 out of 10. They went with the style. They kind of stuck to it. So that's kind of all right. I mean, the production's pretty solid in a lot of the tracks. I liked some of the arrangement. Thought they were pretty cool, especially some of the bass lines. And whatever synth they used to produce it, pretty cool. I wish they stepped out a little bit more into these different styles that they kind of try to do. So yeah, there were some pretty solid dance pop tracks that I would revisit. Put on a playlist or whatever. But also, there's a lot of them that I just really didn't care for, and it's it's that I'm good. I'm probably not gonna put this in a CD anytime soon. So yeah, I'll just give it a 6.
All right, so I'm gonna give this album a 5 out of 10. I think it actually was a 4, but then I I counted all the singles that I like, and there was 5. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 just to help with the average. But no, really, I think I want to preference that. I think it's because I hold them to a higher standard because I know what they can produce, and I know how talented the group is. And it's I'm struggling because the songs that I really like are the songs that are that were released in Korea, the Korean production and like the Korean polish and the K-pop polish that you get just translated to Japanese. So I almost feel like that's it's carrying this album for me, because everything else that were like Japanese release and it's a Japanese album, and the Japanese only tracks that were produced in Japan and the production in Japan were just mostly a letdown, like really let down, and it's really unfortunate. Obviously Suki to Iwasetai was a really good song. Their single debut for Japan was great. They have other couple of songs that were just besides that one, all the other songs that were like released singled in Japan were just letdowns for me. And I think it's just either because I have higher standards for them, or maybe they just don't really sound that great. I think that's kind of like the consensus I got from you guys as well, that this kind of missed the mark. It's a bummer. It's a letdown, and I hope that if they happen to stay together and for another year, or if they stay together permanently, who knows? Only the future knows what happens. If they're able to release another Japanese only album and redeem themselves, that'd be great. But unfortunately, it's gonna be a 5 out of 10 for me, dog.
Hey,
you guys are bigger Izone fans than me. That's what that means.
It's like me with the Nogi album.
Oh yeah.
Revoke the fandom.
Revoke my fandom card, I guess. Yes.
All right, so adding all those up, dividing it by 30, that makes this 5.3 out of 10. But here we round up and down, and in this case, it's rounded down to a 5 out of 10.
Yeesh. All right. I mean, it's average.
Again, our scores go from average, which is 5. So if it's run of the mill, that's a 5. So that's not too bad. That's like what we expect.
Yeah.
All right, well, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like button below. You can go ahead and comment what your thoughts are. You think we're crazy for giving it a 5 out of 10? You think it deserves a 10 out of 10? I don't know who would think that, but somebody out there maybe. Please leave your arguments down below. And if you want to fact check us or anything, again, down below you can leave those comments. But if you want to catch the next album discussion, go ahead and subscribe. Catch the next one. But that's all for right now. Catch you guys later. Bye.